Okay, the book doesn't really talk about list boxes a whole lot in this chapter because it overlaps so much with combo boxes, and list boxes have been used before in the book, so I think it gives it short shrift. But so what I'm going to do is show another silly example. And the reason why I show silly examples is because the simpler the example, I think the more you can focus in what you're learning. So if I just put this list box in the middle of a big program, sometimes it gets lost in the details of that. It gets lost in the weeds of having all this other stuff. So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. I'm a big believer in bottom-up learning as opposed to top-down. There's pros and cons to both. Top-down say, here's a project, go learn how to make this project. And on the way you learn like maybe how to do the pieces of how to do, like say C#, if it's a C# project. I believe in teaching all the pieces of C# first and saying, here, take these pieces, you know how they work, and put something together. Ideally, you can sort of do a mix of both, but you cannot learn something thoroughly unless you learn all the most important fundamental pieces first, in my opinion. It's one of the difference between like self-taught learners and people who have more formalized education. There's pros and cons to that too, but I'm going to tell you, somebody who taught himself has huge gaps sometimes. But regardless, let's go from here. So this is a simple, silly example where you can have multiple titles because that's something that exists in the real world. So I just wanted to use that as an example, because it relates to the other one. So I have a list box here. I call it LST titles, I think. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is when I click on the submit button, what I want to do is see how to construct the title using a list box. So it's going to be very similar to the combo box. I'm just going to show you a slight difference. So I'm going to pause it. Okay, here's a continuation of that. So as we know, we can have such things as reverend doctors. So let me run this and show you what I mean. So if you have selected mode multiple simple on as your selected mode for your list box, then you can select more than one thing, reverend doctor, like that. Now both of those things are selected things. Let's put a name in. I got rid of the suffix for simplicity's sake, Reverend Dr. John Smith. So how did I do that? I go here. You just have to know that there is a selected items collection inside of the items, inside the list box. So for every item is selected, it will be added to another collection called selected items. So I just iterate over each item in that selected items collection and concatenate it to my name. So I start off my name. I think I might have forgotten to do that. You should, just for consistency of what your data type, your variable values are, you should always start off with an initialization. I don't know if I initialized my string to empty string before, but just 2 double quotes like that, nothing in between. And I just concatenate to that first the titles, all the titles that are listed plus a space to make it look pretty. So it's not all run together. And then when this loop is finished, you'll have all the titles that you selected. And then you just add the name onto the end. And like I said, I got rid of the suffix. So I just wanted to say, by the way, I had this up earlier for something else, and I wanted to show you. This is what happens behind the scenes when you do the whole string collection thing in the list boxes and in the combo boxes. It just literally does it in the design code. If you remember this thing, I've talked about it several times. This is partial class controls demo. This is the continuation of the partial class controls demo. That's a form, right? It's spread over 2 different files. This is the auto-generated stuff. So when I was saying it automatically does it for you, it adds it to this code. This is where it does it. This adds it to this code that lays out your GUI stuff. So it'll initialize these things here. So just to show this one more time, run it to make it a really silly example. You just select like everything, maybe, or everything but one. We'll do master, doctor, reverend, whatever. And John Smith. I think there's a John Smith in this class. I'm not calling you out. I should pick another name. John Doe. But I know you're tired of that here. I apologize for even mentioning that, actually. But so this is how this would work in this example. Anything else about list boxes? Let me check. I'm going to pause and I'll come back to it. Nothing really, honestly. It's all the stuff, not all the stuff, but like lots of the things that work for combo boxes also work for list boxes. You can insert, remove things at certain, remember everything's indexed at its core, everything's indexed starting at 0. And of course, people have to be talking on Discord right now. I don't even know why I have it running. So you can also insert things at certain indices if you want to insert something in the middle. So there's all kinds of things. Just refer to the book about how, just the main thing about list boxes and combo boxes is realizing they have an items collection in them. And that items collection works the same for both. It's the same kind of thing. You just store objects on that. And remember, if you drag anything out, you need to downcast it to the specific type that you're working with. So something like that. Yeah, you're casting that item to a string because you know it's strings that are in there. Those titles, Doctor, Mr., and everything, those are strings. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll maybe make another video if there's something I left out about list boxes. But the main thing is just start working with them. And don't forget, you can add to them on the fly in your code, or you could just use them for output. Kind of like text boxes, the same way text boxes can be read-only, right? And just used for output. Or they can be used for input too. So, yeah, any questions, let me know in email.